Yeah. Good morning this coming Wednesday. A good Wednesday morning to listen to the Open Line Radio Show here on AOC Community Media. We want to thank everyone for tuning in. We definitely appreciate what's going on, people, what's going on, so much going on as I get and I practice in my new studio digs, that is, and throughout a few things. I want to thank the staff and management of AOC Community Media. Please consider joining AOC Community Media. Certainly, there's a lot going on, and we're going to get right to it, people. We're going to get right to it. I have some short videos I want to run. Then we're going to go over a couple of things. As we wait on our special guest, Brother Keith, again. Brother Keith will be making his debut on the show again. And again, I hope you're enjoying what's going on AOC Community Media this season with all the new programming. As I say, good morning. So much is going on. We're going to ask you the question. If you care to respond, we're not going to open up the lines right now. We open up later. But we want to ask you this question right here. In the state of Louisiana, how do you feel? Do you feel that the Republican Party in the state of Louisiana has gone full racist? Full racist, people. We got to be able to speak in the same terms of the people that's oppressing us right now. We got to be able to speak in those terms. Has the Republican Party gone full racist, especially with all the things they are doing, all the things they say they're not doing, but they're doing. So I'd like to get your opinion on that. You could chime in at area code 337 272-8849. Have the Republican Party in the state of Louisiana and across the country, have they gone full racist? And what are you prepared to do? Are you prepared to confront them? Or are you going to be just like the weak-ass Louisiana legislative body? I think we got to call a right quick. Call back. I seem to have a glitch when I hit the wrong button. And the caller, I think, is our good sister. You should be in the studio. I want you to know that, Sister Khadijah. You should be in the studio. Call back, caller. But I think they, in a sense, they have gone for racist. If you look at all the things they have been doing. Let me get her back on the line right quick. And maybe she want to answer that question I put to the community. Good morning, caller. Yes, good morning, caller. The 272-8849? Yeah, you just called it, and I called you back. I hit the wrong button. We are not in the regular studio, Sister Khadijah. So good morning. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. 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 Uh-huh. Right. Mm-hmm. 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 Uh-huh. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, caller. Yes, yes, indeed. Let me go to this short clip, and we'll be right back as we iron out some of the, the technical logical issues we have here on the Open Line Radio Show. And I have a video I want to show concerning what's going on with ICE and some other things that you might be interested in. Let's go with Brother Rashad Ritchie.
Trump has threatened to now prosecute Beyonce. Put it up full mass. Man, I mean, at one time in his life, this would have been significant red meat for MAGA. I mean, they would have been celebrating this to the rooftop. Candace Owens would have done a whole series about the justification of this prosecution. Trump calls to prosecute Beyonce based on a non-existent $11 million payment that never happened. Trump claimed in a Truth Social post that Beyonce broke the law by supposedly getting paid $11 million for her endorsement of Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. So he posted, quote, "I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election, and the fact that they admit to paying, probably illegal, $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement she never sang, not one note, and left the stage to a booing and angry audience. You're not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It is totally illegal to do so. Kamala and all of those that received endorsement money broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. Thank you for your attention to this matter." You know, it would kind of be something to kind of say, well, what's going on here? If he wasn't president of the United States. I say that because he's in charge of the Department of Justice. He's in charge of the Attorney General. Every investigative agency that has the prowess and the jurisdiction is under his leadership. My point is he could send an email rather than a Truth Social post, and it would actually have much more credibility inside of the agency to investigate. Him putting it on Truth Social, well, that's to MAGA. That's not serious. All right, so a Harris spokesperson referred to CNN, referred to a November social media post by Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles. She called the claim of a $10 million payment a lie and noted it was taken down by Instagram as false information. It never happened. Beyonce did not receive a penny for speaking at a presidential candidate rally in Houston, Knowles wrote. Federal campaign spending records show $165,000 payment from the Harris campaign to Beyonce's production company, which the campaign listed as a campaign event production expense. That's actually fitting for the caliber of celebrity and the work she performed. The Harris campaign spokesperson told Deadline last year that they didn't pay celebrity endorsers, but were required by law to cover the costs connected to their appearances, which is true. The White House did not immediately respond to a CNN request. late Saturday for any evidence of Trump's $11 million figure. When Trump previously invoked the baseless figure during an interview in February, he described his source in the vaguest of terms, quote, "Somebody just showed me something. They gave her 11 million. End quote. And by somebody, he means a debunked story on Instagram. Okay, all right, Jackson. So the man, so here's what literally happened. The guy was online. He's scrolling. There's this debunked story that has been classified as just somebody just put it out there and it was a lie. He comes across it somehow. He then decides, without checking it, without calling anybody, without even Googling, he decides to post it and say, "I'm looking into this now."
He needs something, man. He needs something. I mean, I had to mute this. You know, it's kind of low key good that we got all this virtual digital stuff, because I'm just back here laughing the whole time you telling this story. Just like, what is wrong with this dude? What is he doing? He has no clue what he's doing. I mean, he's completely in over his head. But I think what's so fascinating about this is it just showcases how magnificently unintelligent he is, but he's also just losing his luster in every category. Because you could look at clips of him from like 2015 or before. He's a lot more quick-witted, but no matter what, he's always just been full of BS, just nothing but BS and swindle. But now he's just slow and tired, and like his veins is clogged and he got to drag his ankles around and stuff. So he's just not having a good time. And he's never known what he's doing with anything, because he's never been anything but a huckster. So now, like, all this weight's just piling on his shoulders. And also there's real issues in the country and the world, and he's not prepared to deal with any of these things in any type of significant way. And so, I mean, all of this is just collapsing around this Epstein issue. I mean, it is a big issue. It's not like it's some small thing. So, but it's just like, this is all he's ever been. This is who this man has always been from day one. A hollow, vapid sack of shit. Sorry if I can't say that, but that's what he is. It's just what he is.
Yeah, and here's the amazing expression that's happening now. He has always been emotionally immature. He's an emotionally immature human being. We've heard these reports from producers at The Apprentice. We've heard from people that worked for him at his former businesses. And they all have one conclusion, including those that have been his lawyer. The man has no impulse control. He's emotionally immature. And we are to somehow accept that a man who's emotionally immature, has no impulse control today, somehow demonstrated significant moral clarity and impulse control while he was with the most prolific human sex trafficker in American history. It makes no sense. All right, we got to wake up. Black Texas candidate tackled and arrested during a hearing. Here it is.
Because the game is rigged. We already know this way the situation's going to be. Many of you that are Republicans that are looking at you guys understand the game. You got to get Trump's endorsement. That's the name of the game to be a Republican nowadays. And you know very clearly that Trump told every single one of you that he needs 5 seats. There will be a retaliation for that. And you choose, after we literally got after one of the worst mass casualty events in our state's history, to go and gerrymander people out of their seats. That's what you have chosen to do with your time, because you're scared of Donald Trump. You are scared and terrified because you're seeking an endorsement when you understand the truth. And the funny part about it is that you all know it's true. You can't react to it. I see you guys' faces. You can't react to it, but you all know what the situation is. Because Donald Trump runs this body. He runs your vote, he runs your vote, he runs your vote, he runs your vote, because you guys know that you cannot dare cross him. And ultimately, what we need in this state are people that have the cojones to actually go forward and call this stuff out. And you can thank your failed, senile, dilapidated, Epstein partying with president for all of the work that we're about to do to every single one of you.
Seems like a fair description of reality in the political circle, especially for Republicans, MAGA, and very specifically for Texas, where this black man happens to be a candidate for public office. Now, what do you think the response would have been? Well, we got the response. Here's how the group of Republicans responded.
Thank you for your testimony.
Did this, you caused this, and this
the witnesses,
is the result of you and your work. No, I'm not going to finish.
Witnesses' time has expired.
I'm not finished. Because ultimately, who doesn't have a say in this are the people of this state, the 40 million people that you guys just kicked.
Witness will come to order.
The people of this state.
The witness does not. The witness is not recognized.
As a result of what you guys have done, this is a result of your policies, and you have no shame.
Okay.
You have no shame. None.
The witness.
Zero.
The witness.
You have no shame for what you've done. And I think that we all should be standing up here and signing up.
Just cut off his mic. Cut off his mic. The sergeants are directed to remove the gentleman from the room.
History will not remember you kindly for what you have done. They will not. As a matter of fact, history might not remember you at all because of what you have done.
The gentleman will be removed.
Shame. You need to have shame. History will not remember you for what you have done. It is a shame.
Members.
You need to have shame. History will not remember you for what you have done. It is a shame.
Members.
It is horrific for what you have.
Jesus, get over him.
It is horrific for what you have done. You should all be ashamed.
Interesting, isn't it? We're built on the notion of freedom. Freedom of speech being chief among those freedoms. But in the very halls where we pass the laws to express this freedom is the very chamber where you have none. Don't talk. Why would we let you speak? Why would we not allow you an additional 5 minutes, 5 seconds? Isn't that why we are all here, to freely express? The same body politic who will say, well, the person saying the N-word, well, that's freedom of speech. There's no issue there. You can't cancel people because of their belief. Those are the same individuals who order that madness. When a man is speaking of righteousness. Now, there comes a point in this game we call life where the spiritual dynamic, or the energetic dynamic, if you prefer to use that word, returns. Imagine if Dr. King would have never been concerned enough to say something.
Brother Jay?
Everybody was concerned, but you got to be concerned enough to say something, to do something, to transform that concern into action. What if Rosa Parks said, I was just tired that day. I don't want any issues. I don't want any major movement. I'm okay.
Do we have a call on the line?
I just go to the back of the bus next time.
Yes.
Yeah, Coach?
My point is.
Yes,
Okay, we good. I'm going to take your call. Let me come back on the air. Hold on for a second.
Their moral clarity. There was public dissent.
Yeah.
They weren't
trying to line up
celebrated in the
some
moment,
good things
but
over
history
here.
celebrates them daily.
All right, Coach.
And y'all are.
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Trying to line up the new studio digs in here.
Amen. Hey, thanks to God. for the blessings of the new things that y'all got to work
Yes.
with.
Yes. So I asked the question when we opened the show, Coach, about how do you feel about the Republican Party in the state of Louisiana? Even though we might not be participating in that party, do you feel they have gone full racist?
Well, I'm going to say everything that I'm hearing is the truth. So basically, I'm agreeing with everything that y'all are saying. Yeah, we have a problem. We have a situation. We have something that's going on that people don't want to I would say recognize. People are acting like what is happening is not really happening. Well, let me say this about the brain. The human brain that God put in our head, it has a function. And once it knows something, it cannot go back to acting like it doesn't know. You can be mentally ill, I believe, from some type of trauma. Many of our military brothers and sisters have had those things happen to them because of their services in the wars, etc. And many others for whatever their reason. I believe in that a little bit. Mental illness. Oh yes, a little bit. But then the creator teaches me that, Chris, your brain, when it knows something, it can't go back to not knowing, no. It always knows. So what we have is people choosing. It's a choice. They are choosing not to do the opposite. Right. Why? Well, the gentleman just mentioned why. He said in so many words. I'll say it in one word. Fear. 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 Mm-hmm. Fear is something that the Bible talks about. Right. It says, and I'll say it in my own word. God says not to fear. But the opposite of God teaches about this fear thing. And some of them are afraid. You see, I'll wrap this up, Brother Jay, like this. I want to say 2 points. The last one I'll say for our brothers and sisters. The first point is for our country. It's sad to see what is becoming of America. And I love this place. It's horrifying to see what's being done to our laws. But I love this place. It's humiliating. It's atrocious. It's some words that you could use to describe ugly in so many ways, and it is ugly. And I love this place. Guys, when I think about our military men and women, many of them are still here today living, and they have fought in all these wars. And there ain't no rumors of war. That's not a rumor, what I'm saying. These people have actually fought in these wars, and many of them are deceased. For whatever reason, they are no longer here. And I remember a time when I was young, they taught us about America, land of the free, home of the brave. God, I don't know how many people still believe in that statement. I still have a love for that statement. You know what I've heard? Listen to this. I've heard people say it like this. America. Home, land, America. Land of the free, home of the Atlanta Braves baseball team. That's what they say we've become. They are mocking America with the Atlanta Braves baseball team. Land of the Braves, supposed to be the Braves. But now it's the Atlanta Braves. With all due respect to the Atlanta Braves baseball team, and with all due respect to our soldiers, etc. That's what we're talking about here. Guys, with all due respect to everybody, it is what it is. It's been this way for years, for many years. Guys, what we see is what the Bible has talked about. In the days that you will live on this earth, your eyes are going to see something that you never thought or never dreamed you would see. But the Bible said it, and here it is. Let's not be blown away by the behavior of others, no matter who the others are, what race they are, no matter. Let us not be taken away by how they act. You can't change the way a person acts because it's a choice. God gave us all free will. They are choosing this. So when you choose, that's fine. But there are two sides. The Bible says there is a side with God, and then there's the other side with Lucifer. And if they forgot who Lucifer is, let me remind them. He was an archangel with Gabriel and Michael, and he fell. And now God has him, he kicked him out, and God doesn't want to have anything to do with him. So all who join Lucifer or who does what Lucifer acts and what he's doing, then guess what? One day, you are going to meet the Creator. Yeah. You going to meet him, and he talks about fire, not floods no more. He said fire. One day, each one of us is going to meet him. And on that day, you will pay for everything that you have done to his children. We don't need to take out no grudges. We don't need to take out no whatever vengeance. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. That will be his. All I'm going to say to us is, everybody, calm down. Turn to the Bible. Focus on God more than you focusing on this devil's crap that you're seeing. Because he's taking away your attention. The devil is. Satan.
So, Coach, I have to ask you a question. You just mentioned something so key here. Can you hear me, Coach?
Yes, I can, brother.
You said, let's say it's coming from your perspective as far as the religious perspective of all what's happening around us. You're saying, in so many words, divine intervention gonna get us out of this mess with these people like Trump who are
no,
okay.
That's not what I said.
Okay. I'm just interpreting it that way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're right. Good question, Brother Jay.
Yeah.
You see, I believe that what God has written, it's written. But now he give us free will to live in this place called this earthly place that he created, the garden. And he gives us free will to live as we want, to choose what we want. Okay. But we have to remember, he wants us also to consider him or consider the other.
Okay.
You either going to consider him in your living or you're going to consider the other one. Divine intervention is not going to fix this. You know why? Because when he created everything, he said, it is good and I'm finished.
Well, Coach, I was simply saying my interpretation because if you're saying turn to the Bible, meaning get more religious or spiritually involved in all the happenings that we might perceive as bad. Basically, if we sit around and we wait for the spiritual creator to come and do something with this person in office and all his henchmen.
Amen. You saying it, brother. We can't wait for the creator.
Okay.
He said we are soldiers. He said we are soldiers. He said put on your helmet of salvation, grab your armor, whatever your armor is, if it's the word of God, the Bible, whatever you choose. And he says resist Satan. Yeah. Resist him. In whatever way you have to resist Satan, you must resist Satan. The way God taught me, simple. Hey, dumbass. Boy, you're making a fool out of your damn self and all of y'all.
Right.
But I'm going to just leave it like that because the bottom line is you're not going to change because Lucifer rules that. And until something happens to you that you decide to come crying back to this side that we own, you're not going to change, and I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Let me say this. This world was given to us by our Creator, and all these things that we've invented and we've created as humans, it was his blessings, his doing, etc. We have taken all of his stuff and we've messed everything up. The humans are supposed to be his ultimate creation. With all due respect, let us look at ourselves in the mirror and let us ask ourselves a question. Have we not sinned? So I'll close with this, Brother Jay. That's the closer. Watch.
Okay.
Yesterday, in the cemetery, this is for our people, in the cemetery, It is important that our people go back to the cemeteries and go and start straightening up your family members' graves. Spend some money on the best paint, masonry paint, etc., and begin to paint them and make them look good. There is a reason why you see nothing but old people, your old auntie and your old uncle and your old family members in those graveyards doing the work, and you don't see a younger generation in there. The reason is because the younger generation was not taught that you should honor your loved ones and you should go to that graveyard and you should do that work.
Exactly.
Brother Jay, those graveyards are horrible. They look like crap. And I'm talking to all of y'all.
Yes.
When was the last time each one of y'all was in a cemetery where your family is buried? If you haven't been there, then go. And if you haven't gone, go. Because the bottom line is, everybody, shut up. Stop running your mouth.
Okay.
Because until you go into them graveyards, you're just running your mouth.
Yes,
and
sir.
It's enough of that.
I agree with you.
Y'all be blessed.
All right.
Y'all be
Thank
blessed.
you. Thank you, Coach. Certainly, Coach had a lot to say there. And again, I asked the question, some people want to wait on divine, well, I call it divine intervention. If we start saying turn to the Bible, we basically talking about the spirituality realm of what we're dealing with some devils around here. Okay, let me get this caller. Hello, caller. Good morning.
What's up, Jay? Good morning, man.
Good morning, caller. I'm sorry that caller. I got it every week. I got a new system I'm putting in. I'm gonna make it work some kind of way.
Oh, yeah. Keep on doing what you got to do, man.
Yes.
This is how we understand stuff, by doing it ourselves.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but man, let me get off that guy with that church stuff. See, this is where we get distracted at. Church and politics.
Right.
You know, he started off good talking about the politics that's really causing the commotion with us. And he said all the right things, that Lucifer was the one that was distracting us, which is this government. But you know, let me go back to what you started off with. You say they got so much going on, and you said that is the Republican Party, how you put that again?
Full racist, like some in the Democrats, or might not be, or might be. You know, full racist.
Well, the thing is, who created this monster? Who created this Lucifer that's called Trump, that the so-called evangelical called apostle? You know, that's the biggest problem with us as black people. We always want to get this invisible man that they created, God, to go and fight our battles. We are alive. And if God is living through us, that means he's working through us. So when we start viewing other things as we got to put things in God's hand, not knowing God is dead, he lived through us, and our hand is his hand, then it should be our hands that's going after those people that's trying to cut our hands. You know, this is the thing that I don't understand about black people. We are the only culture of people that go through everything these white folks done tested, that's been done to black people. And yet we still can't see who are the problem. It's not the Democrats. It's not the Republican. It's the government.
Right. Brother Kevin, I want to throw this at you right here. I'm gonna let you come back to this, because I got this picture on screen right here. After I just have that question I opened up the show with. But I want to go segue into Cleo Fields. He did a meeting, right? And, you know, black folks lay all their hats and their money is like going to the casino and putting everything on black. Well, U.S. Representative Cleo Fields said Trump is turning America into dictatorship. Well, duh. I mean, come on, Cleo. Come on. You got to do better than that. That's why people got voter apathy. So I want to get your opinion on that. I already know how you feel, hopefully. But just
Jay,
him coming out and saying some dumbass stuff like that.
But let me put it to you real good, Jay. You're always on point with everything you say. It's like you be afraid to tell the truth. Our job is to tell the truth about the people who are hurting us. Cleo Field, back in the day, stole money with Governor Edwin Edwards on camera. On camera. And yet still, we let him go for 30 years, and he come back after these corporations and rehabilitate him, and Jeff Landry get him in as what?
Democrat.
So-called black leader. Now, he helped Jeff Landry get to his position. So in return, Jeff Landry helps him get into their position. Because as you understand, you remember them white folk didn't want to give these black people the redistricting of a second district?
Right.
Jeff Landry coming in, what he tells these white boys to do, give it to him. He's one of us. And what happens? He give it to him. And who wins that position, Jay? Cleo Fields. Who endorses Cleo Fields? All the so-called black leaders of Lafayette in Louisiana, because they're all on the same team. It's not about the people. This government is not protecting us. They're exploiting us. Because, you know, don't feel bad about Trump or what he's doing, because all he's doing, he's exposing the corruption, which is crime, that this government is doing to the people. But you see, they got us fighting one another so that way they can rob us. Meanwhile, we are picking sides of a party that we can't even go to, because neither one of these parties, Democrat or Republican, can do anything unless we give them our consent. And what we do, we line up to go to these polls every goddamn time they say we got to go change things, not knowing all we changing is for our interest to come to us and still give it to them. So don't be mad at Trump for exposing Beyonce and all the black people who are really against us, because they're all rich people. You know, and to my white people, I'm always saying that it's white people that's hurting us. No, it's the rich white people, because now the poor white people are starting to see what Jim Crow is truly about. So don't feel bad about all what Trump is showing us. Trump is showing us what exactly this government is about, because number one, he's a 34 convicted federal felon who shouldn't even be around any office of being somebody to criminalize somebody, a criminal criminalizing somebody, and we like children acting like we don't even understand what's going on.
Mr. Kevin, let me ask
you about how much sense do we have?
Let me ask you about this. He just signed. He got a goddamn pen, and he's going just as crazy as Biden with the auto pen. And he just announced another presidential directive to go after the homeless people, saying he want to help them. He want to get them off the street. He want to put them in some rehab places. He want to give them mental health. But at the same time, he taking money from people who really need Medicaid and Medicare, and he giving up to not 100, not 30 billion, not 50 billion, up to $170 billion to the ICE agent to create a police force. Now, you know where that's going. He want to just round up people to have a jail, to have that power of a police force. I like to get your opinion on all that money he giving to these little Nazis that run around with those masks on, jumping out the cars like some jump out boys like they used to do in Liberia.
Well, Jay, Trump is not running nothing. Just like Biden didn't run nothing. The corporation is the ones who give the legislation for all the regulation they put on the people. So our politician is the one that is selling us out. So number one, if we don't go and do research on what democracy is supposed to be and not let people use democracy against us, this is why every year we get in those polls and we so say vote for change. You know, they're still bringing up Kamala Harris. Have you saw her lately?
No.
She's trying to rehabilitate herself from what these people done her, which I don't feel sorry for, because when you sell your soul to the devil, like that caller mentioned, you will be in the devil's hand.
Right.
And you cannot have two masters.
Yes,
this is why these white folk long time ago separated church from state. And what the state is doing, using the church to make people believe that God, the man they say that created everything, is going to let another man create these kind of catastrophe for men. As you see, they want to kick out the homeless, put them in jail, and so say, get them help? No. It's to really rob the insurance company, who they are working for, to give them social help. Everybody's going to be enslaved. White people, I'm talking to y'all too, because y'all are doing bad right now. And black folks, I got to always tell y'all, please calm down, because everything that is happening has been done to us. Nothing has changed through none of these parties, because we was Republican first. And then when the Republicans sold us to the Democrats, we went to them. So stop worrying about what these white folk going through. It is not us. And I understand y'all panicking because y'all think something's going to happen to y'all that haven't happened yet. Don't let these politicians, especially Cleo Fields, who sold his soul a long time ago. These pastors who come out and say we got to change things, that those pastors want those goddamn government grant money for their churches. They are selling their congregation. So whenever I hear people who say they're fighting for the people come up and say we got to go get a Bible or we got to go to church, they are the damn fools that we shouldn't even be listening to. A matter of fact, should be casting them out. Because if they believe in the God that I was raised on, he lives through you. But with the words that man wrote.
Let me go here with you. You keep lead me on right to segue some different things. We got a real good Catholic governor from you and our home area, who actually was a third-rate cop with the St. Martin Parish Sheriff under Charles Fuselier, a notorious racist also, right? Well, he's a good Catholic governor. He embraced spirituality. He just announced this week that he got a Louisiana Doge situation similar to what Elon Musk was. And one of the things he want to do away with DEI, any kind of help for diversity or culture, he want to do away with, because you know what he said? He used these words. He want to have a cultural shift in the state of Louisiana, meaning what? So I asked a question in a post on social media, Mr. Kevin. What do you want to do? I try to keep it plain like you, brother. What do you want to do? Get rid of all the niggas? That's the only step I see.
Jay, he want us to be obedient again. You remember a long time ago in that first Bible that came out and said we had to call these white folk masters?
Right.
And then we had to call these white priests father. This is what they want us to go back to. This is why they don't want us to be awoke. This is why they want us to go to their college.
They hate that word woke with a passion, man. Damn.
But guess what? Jay, is all falling apart because now they're eating each other. And we got to understand, get us some popcorn and enjoy the show, because we cannot fight our enemy because they are white, but we got to let these white people fight themselves. That's what we not understanding. Let these white people fight our enemy, because their enemy is our enemy, even though they are our enemy too. And we got to stick on that bread. No matter what people say, we got to confess to. Confess to the truth, and we're going to be free, because these people never had jurisdiction over our lives. But every time we go to that voting poll, what we do, we give our rights away.
Right.
To who? The black politician who've been selling us out ever since we got into this government. And to those people who want to, say, debate me, go back through history and see everything these black politicians did was against us. Because they said one thing, and when they voted, it was opposite. Same thing Cleo Field does now. He's a good speechman. That's to get the black folks to see what he's trying to show us, which is to stay under these white people's superstition and supervision.
And even if that was the case, Mr. Kevin, wouldn't you see, if there were some really fighters for us, would you not see them and that so-called, I'm going to say this word, the A word, the Acadiana delegation of the Black Caucus, go down to Basile or go down to Gina, where they got these notorious concentration camp, even though that's not necessarily directed at us right now. You would see them speaking out on stuff like that. They don't even speak out. They got the more prisons in the state of Louisiana. You got the GO group, a big corporation, prison corporation, making a whole lot of money. I think some of these Louisiana black politicians are getting money from that company. I like to dig up and see how much money they're giving to them when they go to Baton Rouge. That's the kind of funny they're not speaking out in the state of Louisiana, when we got more prisons than any other place in the world.
You just hit the nail on the head. Remember, I started off with saying how Cleo Fields got that money from Edwards?
Right.
This is what our black, even Marcus Bryant, you remember he the one co-signed the bill that he couldn't read, that white boy made him sign off saying that we can't talk about their corruption?
Right.
You know, remember Marcus Bryant stole that $30,000 from Smile?
Okay.
And what was done about it? He got to become a politician through Terry Landry, the sweet potato man, who handpicked him.
Okay.
So all these black politicians are infiltrators to us. And all they do is they got to get our endorsement for us to believe that they are our leaders and saviors. And once we give it to them, guess what happens? We become their prisoners under them. So it's no different than the rich white folks than the black, rich, so-called white folks. Their job is to make us be under them, to make them look like they got power while taking our power. And we got to wake up and realize no man should have no man telling him how to live or what he can do with his money. Now, like I said, I won't complain if they stop taxing us because we get taxed every day.
Right.
And I don't care what parish I'm from. If I stop in Lafayette and spend some money in Lafayette, their politician is not my politician because why? My tax dollars going to their check.
Right.
Their check doesn't have a Republican or Democrat stamped on it. They're getting paid through our tax dollars. Now, if they want to work for the corporation, go work for the corporation, but let the corporation pay you up front. Don't take our money, then take their money under the table and sell our rights away, then come back and play like, oh, we did the best we can. We compromised. You know what a compromise is? You didn't get nothing. You got exactly what they wanted us to get. So we got, as black people, got to wake up and start realizing, understand what compromise means. Compromise means what they first threw out.
Yeah.
And these black politicians who are indoctrinated with these beliefs, it's not our leader because they don't stay like us and they don't live like us. And they definitely is not like us. And we got to understand that. I don't care what church they belong to, because now these churches are the one covering up for these politicians for a donation to their congregation.
Yeah,
so we got to wake up and realize the only people who can save us is us. And white folks, I'm talking to y'all because Trump big beautiful bill is going to make y'all an ugly life, and it's coming very soon to a theater near y'all.
I'm waiting for the sugarcane harvesting time. I want to see if ICE going to pull up and jump out there back on the back roads and pull all those workers off those trucks and all them sugarcane fields. I want to see how much. I want to see how hypocritical
Trump already
these people
changed
are.
that, man. Trump already changed that. The farmers are complaining right now. So you know who's the head master of that? Jeff Landry. Who come from a farming family, who been living off of government, which is welfare, white folks and black folk, which is welfare. These governments on the sugarcane farmers, they the ones who've been destroying our wealth.
Mr. Kevin, if people do their history and go really do the real history, the first group, the first corporation, the first group of people that should be paying out reparations are the sugar industry, because they, Mr. Kevin, you still there, Mr. Kevin? Mr. Kevin, because they got rich off of slavery. Slavery made the sugarcane industry grow. All these corporations.
Well, technically, the slave was the first sugarcane cutters, but you don't see that for the sugarcane festivals, right? They shoot a machine that the slave built.
Yeah.
But technically, black people were the cane cutters. So if you're going to start off with
reparation,
admiring and honoring the sugarcane farmers, start off with the slaves, who was the first cane cutters.
Right. And
but Jay, keep talking what you're talking, man. Because listen to me, I keep telling you, man. You be on point. It's just the people that surround themselves on your platform trying to get your views to believe their bullshit.
Right.
We got to stop that, man. And like I said, that's why I don't allow no politician to come on my show, man, because you're not going to come lie to my constituents and my viewers and make me look like I'm sponsoring you because you're trying to get a job. And these politicians, they are the most laziest people. And yet still be the first one to say, oh, they don't want to work because they lazy.
Yes, sir.
Well, look at y'all. Y'all don't do nothing. All they do is make bills and legislate hate against the people.
And they don't
and
even.
What we do every year.
And they don't fight. Even if you was on the opposite side, they don't fight for anything. They don't fight for nothing.
Jay, their job is not to fight for us. Their job is to fight for their true sponsors, who are the corporations. See all these black guys that went into politics? They were handpicked by white people. They already knew these black guys had some kind of criminal record on them, and it was very gullible because they loved those indoctrinated Negroes who got all those degrees because they have been indoctrinated with their ideology, which is to make people slave for under them. And until we wake up and realize that's our children's biggest problem because they're not learning what they're supposed to learn about their culture, this is why they don't fight. I remember you said earlier, Jay, what is going on with the people? Well, we've been indoctrinated to see that whatever these white folks is doing to us is supposed to be done. So that's why they only have me, you, and a couple of other people, Sister Khadijah and all of them fighting for other people's rights. Because like I said, I'm free, man. I'm under the same tax system you under. But I'll be damned if I claim all my work to give it to them in taxes while the rich get to, so say, be tax-free.
Right.
But see, when Trump gonna finish his big bill in a couple of months when it hits, white folk gonna start seeing Jake just became true slaves.
Exactly.
And once again, black people, please hold y'all head up. Please hold y'all mind up. Please stop falling victims to these people's fear, because that's how it works. They put fear in you, and then all of a sudden you start turning yourself in because you believe what they say. Go define what the word liberty means. Go define what the word free means. Free means you got the free will to think.
Yes.
Go learn the Constitution. This is where they've been raping us. This is why they don't teach it in schools, because if white folks would see what the Constitution truly means, they wouldn't have become slaves like they are today. That's why they don't want to teach African history or talk about slavery. Because if you start to see it, you'll know you're part of that system now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, to all those churches, still teaching that Bible, because we understand that Bible more than them white folks now. Let's start teaching the Constitution.
Yes.
Let's start teaching their legal rights as citizens. And to all the Hispanics who voted for Trump, you're welcome, because we tried to warn y'all.
They don't listen, huh?
Well, Jay, they always say, talk to the people who done been through everything, and they're going to give you some answers, not questions, some answers to what you need to be looking for.
Yes, yes, sir. All right,
but
Mr.
You're doing a great show, Jay. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. Like I always say, I stand by you. As long as you don't start bringing these old lying-ass politicians on your site, I will be calling in if you allow me to. But, man, keep doing what you're doing. And you need to start off saying today is not church.
Yes,
we don't want to quote the Bible. We're talking about politics today. Now, when you go to church, tell your pastor about what the Bible says. Because some of them pastors don't even know their Bible.
Pastor not even talking about fighting back. Pastor talking about laying down and rolling over. Anyway, Mr. Kevin.
Hey, the pastors get paid no matter what, because they're under government exemption. Yeah. You know that, right?
Right, right.
They get paid by the head they sell to the government. So they don't care about the people. They care about that head count for the government to give them some money to say, we sold them niggas to y'all.
Well,
what we get out of the deal?
They just finished buying the pastor hook, line, and sinker now with that new directive Trump gave about they could say and collect money and say anything they want. So we know what that's about. Let me get this other phone call, Mr. Kevin.
All right, your business, but Jay, remember. Their democracy is for them. That's why they always say we got to go fight for our democracy, which is a lie. They're fighting for their democracy, not us, but using us for them to get it. So go ahead on and do what you got to do, man.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, certainly a lot going on, and I need to get this picture off right here. And call back, man. Somebody else was calling, so we had two other callers when you were calling, when we had Mr. Kevin on the line. But this article right here, says nearly 1 million Americans demand impeachment in a major petition drive. Probably more than that. Go ahead. Okay, we're going to get the call. That's Brother Coach again. Coach, welcome back. Coach? Hold on, Coach, for a second. Yes, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. J. And I want to give a lot of love to Mr. Kevin. Hey, Mr. Kevin, this is Coach. Man, thank you for standing up like you do also. So I'll give a big shout out to you and Brother Jay and Sister Khadijah and the rest. Because it takes a fighting, let's see, I'm going to use words. It takes a brave soldier to put himself or herself out there in the front line. And soldiers is what I consider myself to be.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about what he said. Brother Jay, Brother Kevin talked about the Bible.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad he did. From now on, let's keep biblical stuff separated from political stuff. If we can work on doing that, that'll be the answer, so that we don't get the two confused. Because in America, they seem like they don't want them together. You know, church and state. Well, from now on, Brother Jay, I hope the listeners are listening to it. Oh, we could start with a prayer, yes, and we could end the show with a prayer. Amen. But when we doing straight up politics, and I'll remember that myself, we'll no longer talk about biblical stuff when we talking politics. About politics, Brother Jay.
Yes,
I
sir.
want you to dab in and to us about what's happening with education, with student loans, grants, with cutbacks, with BEI and the university. All these programs are being taken away that the children in the university at the university levels use to benefit them financially, et cetera. All those things. Talk about a little bit about what has been done and what the future looks like when it comes to from preschool to high school to secondary education, elementary education, all the way to the university. Let's talk that today in the politics rank. Thank you.
Yes. Again, Coach, I just mentioned one of the things going on with Jeff Landry and the Louisiana legislative body was he actually declared that the Louisiana Doge program wants to do away with a lot of DEI funding and program. There's an article in the Advocate concerning that, what he wants to do, what his intention is. But I mean, it's so much to it. Louisiana Doge, what Governor Jeff Landry thinks about education, DEI programs, and what this government can learn from business. They want to run education like a business. They want to run healthcare like a business. They want to run everything like a business when these are really something that the masses of people need. You know, you can't apply business plans to everything like medical and stuff like that, and also education. It's not a one size fit all. I think we have another caller, Coach. I'll get back to that. Caller. Hello, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, caller. So how you hearing me now, Sister Khadijah? Are we doing good as far as the audio?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but am I on?
Yes, you're on, my sister.
Okay, yeah. Well, I wanted to answer the question that you had posted.
Mm-hmm.
Have the Republican Party gone full racist?
Yes.
Okay, yes, they have. I mean, no. Have they gone full racist? They've always been full racist.
It was more undercover in the past, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at it, you know, racism is basically geared toward white folks keeping their lineage, white folks doing this and white folks doing that. However, when you go to all of the different municipalities, when you look at let's look at the 16 JDC.
Okay.
You got let's start with the assessor office. Everybody in these offices that makes these big time monies, they're all white. You know, that's keeping racism at the core where they want it to be. They will sprinkle a black here, they will sprinkle a black there. As a matter of fact, they even had with the voters registration, they even had the black girl that was in charge and had been running things to train the white girl so that the white girl could be in charge.
Right.
But it's working the way it's supposed to work. You know, you have the 19 JDC. You have all of these courtrooms. They're gonna have us in our orange uniform, but they barely have us working in these areas and everything. And when you do see one of us, you have to like stand back, because if you're there, then we already know that you're part of the system also. So to answer your question, have the Republican Party gone full racist? Whatever party you want to call them at this particular time, you could call them, because apparently the black was with the Republican Party, and now, I mean, years ago, and then now they switch over. You know, who really give a damn about these parties? I mean, they're not really helping us out worth a lick.
Right.
And I also wanted to mention about that video that is going viral with that no good police officer stopping that young black man who stood the test of time.
Strong young black man. Yes.
You have the video, Jay?
Yeah, we ran the video last time on.
Okay.
If I could find it, I'll pull it up and run it before the show ends.
Okay, but he stood the test of time in front of these lying, thievery, coward, so many words that you could call them that it's just unbearable. But yet you go and you're trained with your weapons, with weaponry. You're trained in combat warfare and everything, and all y'all doing is just putting it out on the black person. And to that young black man, I just wanted to say that I've never seen somebody like him before, and he really stood his ground. And that's exactly what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, Sister Khadijah. Thank you. One of the things I seen in the state of Louisiana is where those who signed up as being an independent, who participate in the voting process, they don't even want you to be an independent in a sense. And even the way they had it all configured, people actually thought they were just being a person who just was registering the vote, not part of an independent party. Basically, my misunderstanding of some of the things in the political realm when you become an independent. But they want to do away with the so-called independent party. There was never a party. People actually thought they were just registering to be independent away from the Democrats and the Republicans. So now they want us put, if you're a registered independent person, you're going to be basically a person with no party. And maybe that's where they're trying to go. They're trying to force people's hands to be in one party or another. I don't know. But certainly they got a lot of changes in Louisiana. Remember, as of August 1st, there are many new laws on the books as a cell phone is dealing with handheld devices. You can't be on those phones. Remember that. But they even go, they take 5 steps backwards, 4 steps forward. They crazy. They change laws every other year. I think they go to Baton Rouge just to put laws on the book that they don't need to be putting. And the thing is, there's still a lot of distracted driving. But then again, you got a lot of alcohol is being sold in the state of Louisiana. A lot of cigarette products are being sold in the state of Louisiana. They make a lot of money off of that. I mean, if you really want to do something, we would try to cut down all these vices that we have, things that make us do bad, But you definitely are always trying to find ways to make more money for law enforcement. And that's what I see is being done. But people need to understand, besides this thing with the Doge Party, not the Doge Party. I think we got Brother Keith on the phone. Let's see. Good morning, brother. Hold up, Brother Keith. And the second I'll get you on. Go ahead. Good morning, Brother Keith. Products are being sold in the state of Louisiana. They make a lot of money off of that. I mean, if you really want to do something, we just try to cut down. Hello.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Good morning. You might want to lower your television in the background. I think we're getting some feedback on. Okay.
Good. Okay. Yeah. What I want, I know you're talking about the governor signing the bill to where the independent party no longer exists.
Yeah, can you elaborate on that?
What I want to bring out and educate the people on, if you're not a registered Republican or a registered Democrat, in the primary, the election is closed. In the closed election, they passed a bill last session where if you're not part of a party, you cannot vote in a closed election. Say, say you're supporting a candidate that's running in a that's running as a Democrat,
right?
And you're no party. You cannot vote for that candidate. You cannot vote for that candidate to be the Democratic front runner.
Okay.
And I know earlier I heard y'all talking about the Constitution. What I want to say is that with the Constitution, the first original United States Constitution wasn't written for black folks. It wasn't written to support black folks. The amendments now there's been amendments to the Constitution over the year to make it fair for everybody. But the Republican Party, what I want to say is we can't tell the people don't worry about what Trump doing. Don't worry about what the Republican Party doing. Let them fight. Let them fight the Democratic Party and sit back. We can't sit back because a lot of things the Republican Party is doing, especially the man with the orange face, a lot of things he's doing is going to affect black people. And I don't want people to think what we experiencing has been this way since the past, which it has in the past. But then we had leaders that came in, fought. Some of them died for the system to change, and the system has changed dramatically. And what I want the people to know that is that the racist Republican Party want to take us back to where it changed from. That's what I want the people to know. They want to take us back to where we changed from, slavery. They want to go back to slavery. They want to go back to you being a slave, cutting the sugar cane for damn nearly nothing, money.
Well, Keith, Brother Keith, you made an interesting point. Didn't he say Trump, when it was all the turmoil over whether or not the ICE agents are going too far, arresting everybody, hurting these farms and these construction sites, didn't he say, well, I'm going to have to think it over and I'm going to have to let the farmers decide. Maybe we could work out a deal where the farmers could be responsible for them. Isn't that a goddamn call for enslavement? People need to wake up. That's a call for enslavement. That's the same thing as the 13th Amendment, the issue when you go into jail for hard labor in Angola. People don't understand that this racist idiot actually going to try it. You see, when you give a fool a position like Trump, and you got enablers like some of our Democratic people who don't fight back, you're definitely going to have a recipe for a disaster where he could say, well, the sugarcane farmers could have all these indentured servants working for us. Enslavement again. They don't see that what he said. Brother Keith? Brother Keith, are you still there? It seems I lost Keith. We'll get him back on the line. What he said that these farmers can keep these people, in a sense, as indentured servants. You know, people, we don't realize history is repeating itself slowly but surely. Surely, at Alcatraz. Alcatraz, Auschwitz, or alligator Auschwitz, they call it because it's not a necessarily Alcatraz. It's more like an Auschwitz camp where you go and you might later on die. You know, they trying to build those things all around the country. They're gonna give up to $170 billion to ICE to do these things, and nobody is actually really showing how damaging this will be. You will give $170 50, 170 billion dollars. You have a entity such as ICE, as big as any military in some other smaller country. So this is the whole killing part about it. The black community needs to understand. That's your tax dollars paying for this. You're paying for this to be enacted. They're taking from you to build something to give them more power over you. And don't think then they won't be coming for you. Because if they could pull off this thing with the migrants and the immigrants and other people and the Haitians, they'll pull it off on you in a minute. Our young black folks need to understand, when we out there wilding out on each other, you got that word called ops. Your ops are not someone who looks like you, who thinks like you. Your ops are people who is against your culture, against your existence in this country. That's your ops. Stop rolling on the wrong people. You're rolling on the wrong people. You're misguided, young man. Stop rolling on your own people. This is what they want. They want you to roll on each other while they get away with putting you in prison or hoping that you go out on the street and kill one. So you send one to the prison and you send one to the graveyard. People, your ops are not the people that look like you. Your ops are the people up there on the screen. These are people that remember the Nazis, if you had your history, if they taught so-called history in schools, you see what they done to these people right here in those concentration camps? Well, this is the same thing. And when you go understand that, you might take that energy that you have when you want to roll up on each other, and you might want to take that energy and join some organization at a young age and start fighting for justice for your people. That's what you need to do instead of rolling on each other for some bull stuff, some mindless or meaningless stuff that we see our young people doing. I want to go to another clip in a minute where I think it's a clip from and you got to listen to this. It's all about what ICE is, and the reason you need to know what their intentions are. The intentions are not simply for the migrants. It's for every other person of color in the United States. And I want to play this clip. It might seem a little boring at first, but it's certainly going to give you the factual information of what is really going on. Let's see if I can pull it up right quick. Let's see. Well, until I get it, I'm gonna clear this out, and I'm gonna run Brother Rashad Ritchie again. Let's see if we can pull it up. Rashad Ritchie, and let him finish this thing right here.
That is who that brother is. That is who you are. That is why we fight. Because they have closed the rules for us to engage authentically. You can't win in their system. They have created rules for them to win. So what do you have to do? You have to disrupt their system of rules and transform it into a more equitable enterprise. That's the only way our children get a chance. He did respond to what happened after the arrest. Here it is.
The Republican Party threw me in jail because I refused to sit idly by as they seek to redistrict our state and try to destroy our economy, and they think that we're not going to say anything about it. They did this because I had the audacity to speak up. And you know what? I'm going to continue to have that audacity because strongly worded letters won't get us out of this mess. It takes speaking truth to power no matter what the consequences are.
You know, the funniest part about the Republicans sending me to jail was when I first got there, I actually did a town hall for the inmates. I know it sounds crazy. Basically, when I told them the whole situation, they were asking me like, what? Congress? How does that work? They're asking me about tariffs and childcare. I taught them how to register to vote, like how the whole process works. It's crazy. So when I think about it, not only did those Republicans and Officer Pillsbury Doughboy cause millions of more people to talk about their gerrymandering scam, I got a good opportunity to go talk about politics with some inmates that probably hadn't thought about it before. Definitely something I'll never forget. Oh, and if you want to make those Republicans matter, because you know, all charges were dropped, you can chip into our campaign. Link to my bio.
That's right. Put him up full mass. Mr. Isaiah Martin. A Texas congressional candidate was wrestled to the floor at a contentious redistricting hearing, dragged out of the meeting and arrested after speaking out against Republicans' plans to redraw the state's congressional districts. I've worked in politics for many years prior to going to broadcasting, and I've been in the Georgia state capitol where people have decided to go over their time. It's a routine dynamic. If they enforced the rule like they enforced on their brother, they would have enforced that with everybody else. Half the damn house would be in jail in the state of Georgia and any other state in this nation. Understand that. Okay, everybody goes over their time a little bit. So it happened on a Thursday. I'm talking about Thursday in Austin, Texas, at the Texas Committee on Congressional Redistricting. This is
Coach. Good morning, Coach. Hold on for a second, Coach. We'll get you on in a minute. Just hold for a second. All right, Coach, we got you now.
Hey, Brother Jay,
Yes, sir.
one last one before you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I could hear you.
Okay, here's the last one before you go this week, and y'all have a great day, great week, and a great weekend. Brother Jay, I want us to all tell the truth about this thing. When we see our children and our brothers and sisters killing themselves, how much does that hurt us personally? How much does that affect us personally?
Right.
What happens to us when we continue to see our brothers and sisters murdering each other, killing each other? What does that do to each one of us? Can some of y'all call in before Brother Jay leaves and tell us how that makes you feel? Thank you, Brother Jay. Have a great week and a great day, great weekend.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Yes, certainly there's a lot of stuff going on with a lot of violence. Let me tell you, there's some troubling statistics in this weekend in Atlanta. In a 4-day span, up to 30 people were shot. And I think in Indiana, there were some major shootings over there where 6 people got shot. And also in Jacksonville, the same city where they beat up the young man when they broke the window and punched him in the face and beat him up, right? You had a gathering up to 700 people from our communities, put it like that. It was a mix, a crowd of different nationalities, but mostly people from our community. They said they was going to do a takeover. 700 were about to tear up some things. That energy should have been taken, and it should have been a mass protest against the Jacksonville Sheriff Department instead of trying. And that was and what would happen with them was separate. It wasn't about concern about the young man that got beat up. It was for something else, that wild and out crowd. And that's where we misguided. We got to get at our youth to make them understand who their ops are in this country. They will not have a future. The only future they will have, either the graveyard or the jailhouse. This is how white supremacy works. And I dare anybody to call me and say, well, Brother Jay, you blaming white supremacy on why our young people is killing each other. Well, it started from slavery and being enslaved. And it worked its way up into the American culture. So that's why the American culture don't mind us having drill music to talk about killing each other and disrespecting each other's graves of young people who got killed. They don't mind. They want that. They're making a lot of money. And isn't it funny that Trump pardoned some rappers who had some provocative lyrics? I'm so glad some of the brothers all say they're going to change. But anyway, know who your ops are, young people. That's all I'm asking, to do the research. Know who your ops are. And I'm going to go back to this before we get off the air. I want to play this about what is, when we saw the part on Rashad Richey, where even as a Democratic candidate or a candidate for running for office as a black man, they don't even want you to speak at these meetings. But I want to go back into what is ICE. $200 billion, up to $200 billion. I say $170 billion. But this guy did an article in a major magazine, and you need to listen to what he has to say.
When you look at all of the money we threw into Homeland Security after 9/11, we put a lot of money into new FBI agents, other corners of federal law enforcement. But the pitch there was a very patriotic one. It was, come be the front line of defense, join an elite counter-terror force, be the first line of defense against Al-Qaeda. That's not the hiring pitch that ICE is making right now in social media clips, in Fox News stories, in news headlines. It is, are you someone who gets really excited to dress up like you are storming Fallujah in tactical gear with long guns to go round up some roofers in the Home Depot parking lot? Is that I don't know why you would get into public service to further. This bill reflects a country that is not the country that I like to believe that America is, that I sort of like to think we are a kinder, nicer, more caring country than the country that shows up in this bill. There has been a lot of evidence over the last 10 years in American politics that I am wrong about the country that we are, but I still, in my heart of hearts, think that this is not reflective, at least, of the tradition of public service that I think motivates most people who get into government and politics.
And you say that basically, I mean, I'm looking at what's behind you for people that can't see it and are just listening to the pod. You have a Nixon poster, you have a Goldwater poster. Like, you would be, I'm assuming, some sort of a traditional conservative or Republican, and yet you're looking at this same budget when you say, show me your budget and I'll show you my values. And this budget does not match with the values of what we're seeing from this current Republican government. My
Nixon Goldwater is actually a reflection of my time writing about Nixon in a book that I did on Watergate. So
Perfect.
I am not what one would call a traditional conservative, but I grew up in Vermont. I live in Vermont. I worked for Howard Dean when he was governor of Vermont and then when he was running for president. And in most of the rest of the country, in traditional terms, Howard Dean would be a Republican.
Yeah, a classic centrist, right?
A classic centrist. And I think one of the things that I believe in my heart of hearts in politics is that the role of government is to help smooth out the unlucky. That we are all unlucky at various times in our lives. It is one of the few things that we have no control over in our lives, whether it's a health scare, whether it's a family scare, whether it's a community scare, as we've seen in Texas in the last couple of weeks, as we're certainly going to see in some American cities or towns in hurricane season this summer. I've always believed that the role of government is to sort of help the unlucky, assuming that sort of all of us will be unlucky at various times and need that government help. And this is a budget that sort of top to bottom guts most of the parts of government that work hardest to protect the unlucky.
Yeah. And if you are looking out for the unlucky, it's like you're only as strong as your weakest link. And if you're helping the weakest link at that moment, then theoretically you're strengthening the entire nation. But as you point out, as someone who has covered federal law enforcement for the last 2 decades, someone who's written books about the fall of fascism in Europe, it's also impossible to not look at this new piece of legislation and see that not only are we hurting people with these policies, we're turbocharging what will ultimately be a form of a lawless regime with all the money that we're allowing into Border Patrol and ICE. So talk to me about why you wrote this article and what your biggest concerns are about giving a blank check to essentially a giant unchecked secret police.
Yeah, so I've spent most of the last 20 years covering federal law enforcement. I have written books about the FBI. I've written articles about ICE and the postal inspectors and the marshals and ATF and lots of alphabet soup agencies. And I spent about 5 years covering CBP, the Customs and Border Protection, and specifically looking at the wave of corruption, crime, and misconduct that followed a hiring surge that the Border Patrol did in the Bush years post 9/11, in the wake of the original creation of DHS. That agency sort of tried to double from about 9,000 Border Patrol agents to about 18,000 in a very short period of time. And how what ended up happening was the agency was just swamped by misconduct, crime, corruption of a whole lot of people who should have never been federal law enforcement officers. And I'll come back to that in a second. But to then pivot to the modern moment, this new spending legislation this summer puts about $200 billion into immigration enforcement. That includes money to hire about 10,000 new ICE detention officers, as well as about $40 billion for new detention facilities, $50 billion for border security.
So it's personal enforcement, but it's also money for detention and surveillance. They want money to build more walls, more prisons, and to put more immigration agents out in the street, more ICE agents out in the streets to basically round people up and or terrify us into behaving the way they want us to.
Yeah. And I think it's really easy in sort of politics to like throw around these really large numbers with millions and billions and like to not have people really understand what those numbers really mean. To put that $200 billion in context, ICE's annual budget right now is about $10 billion. We are going to be funding ICE at a level that is larger than the combined budgets of the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, and the Federal Bureau of Prisons, again, combined. So we are going to be funding ICE not at the level of a federal law enforcement agency, but we're going to be funding it effectively at the level that we fund the U.S. Marine Corps, like an actual pillar of the armed services.
Yeah, I think they said if ICE were the military unto itself, it would now be the 6th largest military budget in the world.
Something in that range.
In the world.
Yeah. And coming back to the CBP example, the challenge is no healthy law enforcement agency can grow at the scale and scope and speed that ICE is apparently going to attempt to grow. ICE is not a healthy law enforcement agency to begin with, for all of the ways that you can see on your social media accounts and daily news headlines right now. Every police agency, state, local, federal, that has ever tried to grow at this scale and speed has failed. And the examples are notorious across the history of American criminal justice. Miami in the 1980s, which tried to vastly increase its police force. You can talk about the infamous class of 1989 of the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C., where Mayor Marion Barry tried to increase the size of the local police by 50% in a single year. And what ends up happening is you have this like long trailing arc, this long tail of crime and corruption that follows these officers, because in order to grow at this scale, you cut your education standards, you cut your hiring standards, you cut your oversight standards, you cut your supervision and training standards. And that's exactly what ended up happening with CBP. CBP, sister agency to ICE, like we don't have to look very far for examples of how this goes wrong. Doubles in size, again, 9,000 to 18,000 agents. And what that ends up meaning is that from 2005 to 2012, there are 2,100 CBP officers and agents arrested themselves for crime and misconduct, which means that for 7 years, one CBP officer or agent was arrested every single day. And by as late as 2017, more than a decade after the hiring surge started, the pace of arrest for crime, corruption, and misconduct among CBP had slowed to only one agent or officer every 36 hours. So like this was still a like titanic tidal wave of crime and corruption within the ranks of the own Border Patrol that they are sort of still trying to sort out today.
What Garrett is saying is when you try to supersize an agency, when you try to hire people this fast, history shows us, based on Garrett's research, that when any law enforcement agency grows too fast, their hiring standards fall, they limit their training, the officers end up being inexperienced, the supervisors don't know what they're doing. You know, people who are supposed to be familiar with the procedures don't know them, so they end up making a lot of mistakes. And law enforcement usually regrets that speed in which they hired people because the mistakes that are made during that time often take years to fix. I mean, you told a story in your article about how Border Patrol tried to increase their hiring and they ended up with a bunch of cartel members and even like one serial killer in the mix, and they put them on patrol.
Yes. This isn't just about the new officers coming in that's the problem. It's also that it sort of corrupts and breaks the whole organization, because in order to bring on these new officers, what ends up happening is you end up promoting the current officers into sort of levels of supervision and executive ranks that they're not qualified for either, that they haven't had the field experience, they haven't had the training for, they haven't had the sort of supervision in order to do those jobs well. And so then you sort of end up with this like whole house of cards where across the entire organization, no one is qualified, no one has the training, no one has the supervision. And again, that's in your healthiest law enforcement agencies. What sort of specifically terrifies me about throwing this amount of money at ICE is we already can see that ICE is not a healthy law enforcement agency. That sort of the speed with which it has moved towards masked, unmarked law enforcement operations, enforcement operations, the speed with which they have resorted to sort of brutal tactics. And then also think about who this is going to attract as the next generation of this turbocharged ICE agent.
Yeah. You laid out 4 major reasons we should be deeply worried about what the Trump administration is doing with immigration. And you're starting right now with saying, like, listen, no one is supposed to supersize a law enforcement agency this fast. That's rule number 1, because we know it goes badly. We know the mistakes are made. We know we hire the wrong people, promote the wrong people, and they're already making mistakes. If you add that many more people in, what will happen? And the second one that you're going on to now, which I think is like, who does this then attract to be these officers? That would be the second one. 3, you talk about the funding disparity between ICE and Border Patrol and how much bigger their budget is going to be now than the Justice Department. And the Justice Department is supposed to be a very big part of this. There's supposed to be a whole process through the courts that we work through, but they're putting all the money into enforcement rather than the legal system that should go hand in hand with it. And then finally, if we're not prioritizing the law because we're not putting money into the Justice Department or new immigration judges per se, we're putting it all into law enforcement. It's a really bad time for the Supreme Court to be turning a blind eye to the lawless behavior of the executive branch. So that's kind of the 4 main pillars. And you and I were just discussing this idea that like ICE shouldn't be growing that fast because really no agency should be growing that fast. But then you're talking about now, who wants to be an ICE agent right now, right? Like, who's drawn to this job when we know it has like a social stigma to it and a sort of political nature to the brand itself? Have you ever tried to buy wine, but you have no idea what to get? There's just too much biological age because everyone deserves
practical gear with long guns to go round up some roofers in the Home Depot parking lot. You know, are you watching the news and are excited to like scuffle with Democratic members of Congress who are trying to do their legal constitutional duty to provide oversight of detention facilities? Do you get your rocks off like beating up America's abuelas outside of churches and schoolyards and, you know, shipping them off to South Sudan or El Salvador torture gulags? I mean, this is, I think, a recruiting pitch for America's worst bullies. I think sort of unfortunately, The Onion covers politics more accurately than a lot of political outlets these days. And there was an Onion headline last week about every trait that made an ICE applicant bad for every other job makes them perfect to be hired by ICE right now.
Like xenophobic, racist, sadist, bully, incompetent, unprepared, like all these things
Right.
Might be an asset in ICE.
Exactly. We've never seen a hiring surge in a law enforcement agency that was so polarized, so partisan, had such a sort of loss of legitimacy in a free and democratic society. In a free, democratic, open society, policing requires the permission of the policed. Like, that is one of the sort of fundamental tenets of policing, dating back to Sir Robert Peel founding the London Metropolitan Police in the 1800s as the first modern police force. Like, the reason that police have authority is that we, the police, respect them. What ICE has lost in the last 6 months, which ICE had for most of the 19 and a half years of its existence prior to January 20th, 2025, is the sort of basic public legitimacy that we appreciated their work. And now we're seeing, this split between ICE and, the American population in a way that we've never really seen at a national or societal level in American policing. There are certainly communities or neighborhoods that have bad relationships with their local police departments. That's nothing like the idea that we're now seeing, federal law enforcement jeered at sporting events.
Yeah, well, it's hard to respect masked men in unmarked cars with no identification who can do whatever they want. And I don't know if you're doing that job or not. If that's you, you're not the good guy. It literally doesn't matter if your paycheck is signed by the US government. You're not the good guy. If you show up somewhere, don't tell anyone where you are, you're masked, and you throw people into cars and don't answer any questions. That does not make you the good guy. It doesn't matter who's paying your salary. And I think we have to remember, too, that they've talked about giving these new recruits just extraordinary bonuses and extraordinary paychecks. They're talking about paying off their student loans and giving them federal universal health care. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like they're going to make it almost impossible for people not to take the job, but also to leave the job, even if they see things that they shouldn't be seeing, because where else are they going to get that kind of paycheck, that kind of bonuses, that kind of extras, perks? You're not getting that anywhere, especially in a job that has no education requirement.
Exactly. And that's where, again, part of the challenge of this is ICE already has among the lowest hiring standards, education standards, and training standards of any federal law enforcement agency. ICE today, right now, is the best educated and trained and most mature ICE we will see for the next decade, which is a terrifying sort of thought for American society.
Yeah, it's like that old Simpsons thing where it was like, this is the worst day of my life. And he's like, so far.
Right.
That's what it's like. This is the worst
Well,
ICE has ever
second
been.
caller,
Like, so
I think we got you
far.
on. Let me pause this and
I think one
come
of the
back on
problems,
screen.
and
Hold
you wrote
on for a
about it in
second.
your article, is that the culture that we're seeing play out in ICE, the people that are attracted to it.
All right, caller, we got you back on.
Hey, Jay, on that ICE stuff, I don't know if you remember the 1850 Slave Act.
Yes, sir.
That's what the Trump administration is bringing back. It was the same thing they did with doing slave patrol. Mm-hmm. Everything that this so-called government is doing has been done before. This is why they don't want people to know about their history, because if they would see it as all a repeat. This is why they want to take over the education system. This is why they want to be in control of everything. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, the Democrats got the same ideology, because their job is to control the power. Who controls the power controls the money. Mm-hmm. And the corporation is who is controlling our politicians. Mm-hmm. And we can't keep getting distracted with all these little agencies that they're creating. And these guys are wearing masks because a lot of them really not agents. They're
they
white guys that their friends hire.
Mr. Kevin, that's what I want to talk about. Nobody want to talk about it. You can't even get those elected officials to talk about. They could be recruited. You remember those guys that was marching in Charlotte? If you look at the ICE agents, it's the same type of uniform, the mask, the hats, the shades, the same type of thing. I think they're actually recruiting these white supremacists, these militia type group, to do those things. You know, taking the taxpayers.
They recruiting. They already had the job. You forgot Trump letting these convicted felons for the insurrection out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You remember that these violent criminals who committed treason, who a lot of black people got killed for talking about the government.
Right.
This is why Trump let his goons out, to cause this fear, to cause this kind of catastrophe.
Uh-huh.
And look, I'm not speaking up for the Hispanic and immigrants. I'm speaking out for humanity. I'm speaking out because everything that was done to black people is now being done to all the other black people who think they're not black because those white folk label them as Caucasians.
Right.
We got to understand, if we don't come together, we all die together. And that's white folks, too, because we're in competition and in war with the rich people who are using the politician that we vote for to go and represent us. They are using them to, so say, get us to elect them as leaders. Mm-hmm. And once we elect them as leaders, that means we are weak people and we can't govern ourselves. So whatever that person that we elect choose to sell off to the corporation, we can't complain because every time we are voting, we are giving up our consent. And people don't understand this is the process of voting. It's a scam. And no matter who wins, the corporations still own them. That's why we still only get two people to pick, a Democrat or a Republican. You notice that, Jay?
Yeah.
Well, why is that? If we're living in a free and democracy, why they got to pick the two people we can choose? And both of them work for the corporation now.
Man, and look, the new situation where the legislative and the governor voted to do away with the so-called independent party. You know, I must confess I'm a registered independent, but I had no idea that I was part of a party because I thought I was just a person who I didn't want to be a Democrat. I didn't want to be a Republican. Now they're saying you were a party. Now they're trying to force people to have no participation to either go to one or the other party. You know, I don't know how you feel about that whole situation. How they're trying to play people, even if people want to participate, they're trying to play people.
Well, Jay, if it was for the people, don't you think it should be the People's Party and not the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party? If our politician was working for the people, why we got to choose what party we belong to? Mm-hmm. When we send our tax dollars and they get paid through it, they don't have going to a Republican, going to a Democrat. They got going to a politician, correct?
Right.
So why are we allowing these people to divide us, to conquer us? That's how they stay in control. Look, Trump really didn't win the election because, as you notice, the Democrats didn't fight to go have a recount. Mm-hmm. As you notice, things are coming out that they had 4 million votes that was denied. You understand?
Right.
4 million votes, and just so happened in the black section. But they used the Hispanic to make up for the blacks that outvoted the Hispanics. And what Biden did? Biden conceded with it, right?
Right.
He didn't contest it, right?
Right.
So if that don't let people understand and make them see that this government was created to deny democracy to the people, then we are supposed to be damn fools for the rest of our life. Because every time we participate in this so-called government, that we got to go vote for a leader. That means we are weak people. That means we can't think. That means we can't govern. I remember the brother on the Muslim show, a community defender, said that black people weren't political savvy. Mm-hmm. White people are not political savvy. Nobody is political savvy until you understand what is politics.
Right.
Every day that the news is telling us what, Jay? Politics is about business, and business is about politics. It doesn't say nothing but people.
Right.
We are not even citizens, man. We are consumers. Their job is to sell us and keep us fighting with one another with our so-called ideas.
Just like all them new laws going on.
Their parties.
Just like all them new laws going on in the book on August. That's a money grab. The issue with the left-hand lane, that wasn't so much of a problem. I know, you gotta get out that lane. That's a money grab. The issue with a whole lot of stuff, the cell phone stuff, that's a money grab.
So, Jay, what you just said, why is none of the livable wage increase on the dockets? Why none of these politicians was fighting for an increase in minimum wage? Because their job is to deny you that.
The so-called Black Caucus is
transgender. They're distracted with migrants. They're distracted with all kind of other stuff. And what we do, we jump right into it.
The so-called Black Caucus is actually terrified to bring up anything about a livable wage. They terrified. They worried about get voted out because they always pick somebody to run against.
They need a job.
Yeah.
These black guys need a job. They might get all these degrees, and these white folks still don't value them or respect them.
Right.
But if they can sell their community out and make that white man think he's a good Negro on the plantation, that's what it's about.
Yes.
So this Black Caucus, they're not here for the people. They're here to line the people up to go vote for their party.
Yes.
The Republican got, 3 Negroes on their plantation, right?
Right.
And look what they did to them. Now one got a position, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, Joe Biden, he had a bunch of Negroes on his plantation, even some pastors who were selling their congregation to get those grant money, which is welfare again, black people. But yet still, what we do, we go to church and pray to God, and yet still that pastor letting these politicians come sell you a belief that their legislation is more stronger than God's word. But yet still, we so say read the Bible and understand the Bible, and yet still in the Bible it said do not follow man, right?
Right.
So that means we not reading our own Bible. We letting people edit the Bible, making them feel we got to go through them to see a God. Same thing with politics. That's why they work together.
Yes.
Our mind is being manipulated by both of these parties. That's why when I hear these so-called wannabe pastors getting on your shirt talking about we got to read the Bible, we got to go into church and all that, they are the ones selling you out because church and politics has nothing to do with our lives. You remember Jesus, the first story said that he was walking a donkey going to the rich saying, do not tax the poor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What happened to that story there? But you don't hear none of these preachers talking about that. All they're telling you, they need a jet to fly from state to state to go look at their money.
Yes.
So keep talking what you're talking, man. But the thing is, we got to have these people that so-called we elect come on your show and debate, but they won't do that because they
won't.
Don't have no.
They have.
Well, they don't have no truth to it. The first thing they tell you, I put it in God's hand, or God told me to run. Well, why you don't go and run for God or into the church?
Since Trump got into office,
that's what we're not understanding. We can't let these people keep hiding behind God's word. Yet and still, you the one making the decision, but yet and still, you're talking about God told you to say it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right,
so keep saying what you're saying, man.
All right, Mr. Kevin. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Hold on, sir. All right. Go ahead, Brother Keith. Go ahead, Brother Keith.
Yeah, Brother Jay, I know I know you got a little bit of time left, but I just wanted to reiterate for the people that we can't be stuck on Joe Biden. Joe Biden's run tenure is over with, and if a recount had to been called for the last election, it wasn't Joe Biden's job to do it. It was Kamala Harris was supposed to call for a recount of the votes.
Right?
Not Joe Biden. We keep blaming Joe Biden for what we don't have or for what we didn't have or for what these people do.
Right.
We keep talking about the racist. I know you're a lesser to evil. We keep talking about he racist, he this, he that. But the country was in the country, and when I say the country, I'm not talking about straight economics. I mean, because it was a rough patch from COVID. But far as equality, the country was in a lot better position than what it is now. During Joe Biden's run, and I'm not talking for the Democrats, and I'm not talking for the Democrats. I'm saying logic. But what we gotta understand is that this current administration is racist. It's hard down racist, and showing it, and showing it, and it's racist. Biden administration never showed no racism like that. As a matter of fact, they push to pass certain things. It's just that the Supreme Court was ruling against the administration at the time, saying that the executive authority, the executive branch didn't have the authority to do it. But currently, we got a Supreme Court that rolls with the executive branch.
Right.
So when the executive branch bring executive orders to pass, those executive orders are getting passed because the Supreme Court is allowing them to do it. It's not saying that that is legal. It is legal. What they're doing is legal, or what they're doing follows the Constitution. It's just that they have a favorable voting outcome in the Supreme Court.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Miss. All right, Brother Keith. Hope to have you on next week. When we have 2 shows on next week. Real Talk next Tuesday from 9:30 to 11:30, and the Open Line Radio Show. Hopefully, we'll be back in the studios of 88.3 from 9 to 11. And I want to thank you so much, Brother Keith. Thank you.
Right, Brother Jay.
Again, people, thank you for tuning in, and please consider supporting AOC Community Media. Become a member. Support all the shows. Mr. Kevin 5:30s on Thursday. Open Line Wednesday from 9 to 11. Community Defender from 7 to 8 on Sundays. Digital Soul Showcase TV. 4 o'clock every other Sunday. So check out all the shows. Voices of African American also comes on after the Community Defender mentioned that. So many different shows to support. Please support community-based media. Support this station. And I'm going to sign off and hope to see you next week. And hopefully we have some more information to share with the community too. Let's see. We could get it played.